Hi everyone, welcome again. I've taken a little break from social media and from the channel. Right now I'm ready to get back and share more what I've understood, what I've realized, and especially share what was helping me over those last couple days. Many people are finding themselves in the dualities or things from the past that seem to be repeating, and it gets pretty confusing. It may get extreme in terms of mental situations, psychological situations, emotional situations, and it's quite hard to navigate sometimes those moments, not really sure which way to go and how to proceed. But as a word of introduction, I wanted to say that all of this is still part of our evolutionary path. And today I wanted to talk about how we should be changing our focus and focus more on our evolution in terms of what is really happening for us, for our own well being, our own level evolution and growth, instead of seeing all those circumstances as happening to us as a punishment. So, in general, it can be applied to you whether you're in so called separation phase or union or any other phase that you can classify yourself right now as a twin flame or as a spiritual being. We are dealing with those elements, all of us, there is no exceptions, and ebb and flow is a natural process. But the moment you're able to work towards shifting the perspective to more positive and accepting that some of those things, as much as they may seem uncomfortable, they are necessary for growth. You can go with them, you can embrace them, and you don't have to punish yourself with this overthinking that, oh my goodness, why it's happening to me, it's so awful. You will start seeing more bigger picture that will help you to move faster because you're not gonna be getting in those overthinking cycles. So getting back to the topic, of course, we are dealing constantly with dualities here, right? Like we have those negative situations that happen to us, especially I'm talking about either some separation or some very uncomfortable family situations, for example. As well, we have those super nice positives, right? So we are just balancing in and out, in and out. And especially when we are entering the next stage and we are unraveling deeper parts of our subconscious, there might be very extreme shifts that will be happening in your field. And you may realize that those changes appear to bring up some new parts of yourself you didn't even know that they existed. There might be some mood swings, there might be some very extreme emotional experiences, either towards yourself or towards other people. There will be quite a few unexpected things that will be coming to your field just because you didn't have awareness enough to know that this is still part of your being. So it can get a little bit tricky to realize that while you were considering yourself as a stable being that has reached certain state of equilibrium within your bodies, you may see that your one of your fields may start falling away, a little bit like crumbling and getting out of your control. And maybe a word of encouragement is just to be patient with this process and allow yourself for those next layers of subconscious to emerge because they want to appear. But if you build this very balanced state, there is no cracks that they can maybe allow those things to come up to the surface. So it's natural process that even if you feel like you've balanced it all out and you are beautiful unified being right now, there will be moments that will be shaking you up just for this very purpose. You need to go through the next layer of a transformation, and you need to either clarify and clear something from your family pattern, or maybe there are still things in your own field that you need to put attention to and get rid of because it's blocking you to reach this higher state. So this is really just a reminder that this is a natural process. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong with your journey. It's just you're entering the next stage because the more things are waiting for you. You just need to reach there vibrationally, right? Maybe how to try to shift this perspective into more positive is really to see that as part of a whole, and accepting this very thing that is happening currently in your life, if it's uncomfortable, if it's difficult, like this is reality, like that's really happening right now, and it you are ready to accept it. You're opening your eyes for the reality of the situation instead of denying it, neglecting it, rejecting it, or maybe trying to find some explanation in your mind that are only based on your own wishful thinking. This is very useful for all stages of the journey as a twin flame, but in your life in general. Sometimes the experiences are coming to you to show you reality. And only after embracing this reality, you're entering the next stage, because that's this how the expansion is happening, right? We are accepting something that we didn't know existed, like we didn't take it into account. It really makes it easier to go through these changes once you accept that some things have to happen in your life for you to evolve and grow. At the same time, I would encourage everyone to look at your own limitations and look what the situation wants to show you. Because very often, those things that are emerging and coming, they are showing you clearly that you have limits of some sort, either emotional, meaning, for example, attachment to certain person, or maybe materialistic. You're too much attached to your material world, to your job, for example. Other example could be you are not feeling that you are enough, like you can really be on your own and be well, that you can provide for yourself. This is also your example of your own limitation. So, really, by embracing these lessons and trying to understand why certain situation is coming to your life, try to see it from this perspective. Try to see what kind of opportunity right now is presented to me, what can I overcome, learn, and not have this very thing as my limitation anymore. It's all about giving yourself freedom in this journey, right? So we are kind of unraveling those layers after layers after layers of our own limitations to just go further, to act from this really space of freedom and space of this inner knowing of our own strength and power. So there might be moments that you will be doubting in the whole existence. You will be doubting what is happening to you this uncomfortable way, and maybe trying to accept that anything that's currently happening to you in the present is necessary at this present moment. Otherwise, you wouldn't go through that. So normally you will be getting triggered by certain people or certain situations, but they will be just showing you where is this area of growth. Because imagine if you didn't have issues with that, you would just smoothly sail, like you wouldn't even notice. So anything that really keeps you like stuck or feels like, oh, things are not moving, again, something it's difficult, try to see what is really this pattern that is repeating that makes those things really so difficult, like why you cannot really get through those smoothly. So that will be very helpful for you to navigate, try to see, okay, what can I improve, what can I do for myself to make myself feel better in those kinds of situations. Especially talking about those sudden changes that may be coming to you, it's easy to fall into doubts, wondering, oh, why it's happening to me right now. It really feels like it's falling apart and everything is crumbling. What am I supposed to do? In those situations, it's maybe useful to take a look and think where you really want to go, like who you want to be, and how would you like your life to unfold, and what is maybe your end goal that you thought about at some point of your time and life. And really you can see that maybe life is already taking you there, but it's uncomfortable to make this transition, because if you are going all the time left but your vision is on the right, there will be this uncomfortable moment of redirection. It's not gonna be feeling comfortable and known. It will feel awkward, it will feel scary and challenging, but trust that that's the way the universe wants to bring you to where you want to be at this present moment. So it's like constantly we are getting the possibilities to adapt, to adjust our path, but sometimes we are just required to take bigger step. That's one thing to accept, right? Like if you are asking for fast evolution, you're gonna be taking big steps. And with all this process, it's for everyone to remind that we have to be gentle with ourselves, because it's easy to fall into some pattern of pushing yourself too much, or being impatient with yourself, or being angry at yourself because you're mentally really readjusting, right? So make sure that you're monitoring yourself throughout the changes, and don't be afraid to reach out for help if you need that. Like that's why we have each other here. That's why we have professionals, including psychologists, psychics, whoever can really help you to understand what you're going through. And of course, we have our inner guidance, but sometimes this guidance will tell you you need to reach out to other people to see we are still part of the collective. We may evolve in different pace, but we are still part of a whole. One last point I wanted to talk about is, while going through those changes, you may feel old fears appearing, old patterns appearing, and it may feel like you really want to do this checkup. Am I doing the same thing over and over? Is this situation coming to me because I missed something last time? Why am I going through the same cycle? And especially those kinds of situations are tricky, because it's, of course, in life we will be repeating the cycle. And sometimes we are being asked to repeat the cycle, yes, and it may feel scary, or it may feel like we didn't move. Oh, the cycle repeated itself. Like, what have I done wrong? And sometimes it's approaching the same cycle but with a fresh perspective, and seeing what have you done imperfectly, what can you improve. Maybe you neglected something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to escape the cycle. Not all the cycles are meant to be broken. Some of them are giving you this opportunity to go higher and expand. So if you see that from the spiral perspective, when you can get yourself into this more mm, broader perspective, and you can put yourself a little bit higher, you will understand that in the end we are all dancing in this spiral of evolution. And it's really beautiful how we can see that every time you're entering some next stage, there will be some similarities, because that's how your life path unfolds. But it will always be some freshness to it if you acquire this new perspective. So hopefully that was a message that some people needed to hear. For sure it helped me to understand this whole process a little bit better. I'm really looking forward for the changes that are coming up, and I'm hoping that many of you are deciding the road of evolution and choosing the new, and really deciding on bringing the new and expanding. Thank you very much. If you have any comments, you want to share your experience or anything that comes to your mind, please put that in the comments, and I'm gonna be addressing that in the next videos. And meanwhile, stay tuned. On Saturday we'll be hosting another live chat. See you there.